Hey folks, Brad with Secure IT 360 here to talk to you about the OWASP Top 10. This is our first kind of full episode, if you will. We're going to cover the A01 finding or vulnerability, if you will, and we're talking about broken access control. So what is broken access control? In a nutshell, it's your ability to access things you shouldn't be able to access, right? So whether that's an admin panel that you shouldn't be able to see, or whether that is user records that are not yours, being able to access those, creates an obvious problem with the security of a given web application. So let's talk about why that is different this year, right? It's different because it has moved up from position 5 to position 1 in the rankings. And so why did it do that? So, well, according to OWASP, and everything you're going to see in these slides is stolen from OWASP, right? You can go look at the top 10 page and see all the exact same stuff. 94% of applications were tested for a type of broken access control. That doesn't mean that findings occurred or that there were vulnerabilities. It just means that the testing was performed. So I don't find that to be a very compelling thing unless we're just not testing for other things on a regular basis. Now, I will say that the mapping of 34 CWEs to broken access control is interesting and may be compelling as a good justification for moving it up to the #1 position. That is a lot of CWEs, and for those of you who aren't familiar with CWEs, I encourage you to go research that. It's very interesting, and it's kind of a combination of really specific things and really vague things, but interesting nonetheless, right? So this is a screenshot of, basically components from access control issues, right? These are basically example attack scenarios, references, etc. What you'll find is that these run the gambit of impacts. So impact could be anything from, I can now access admin panel, like I mentioned before. That's a very serious thing by force browsing to it. Or it could be as, minor as me being able to read contact information on a different profile if I can, manually increment the numbers in the browser. So this is both a blessing and the struggle that we have in the security world with the OWASP Top 10, is that it is both, specific in the way that you can look at a finding and say, yeah, that's probably broken access control. It's also super vague in that it is hard to map specific defenses to broken access control for a given application. So there's definitely value here. There's definitely lessons to be learned. It's difficult still to map specific test cases and specific defenses against these types of attacks, in a narrow way that fits into a list that only has 10 things. So, I agree with OWASP here, right? This is a very serious problem. We absolutely should bring awareness to it. But, again, kind of speaking to, we probably don't need to map this to specific test cases, tool sets, methodologies, etc. But that visibility is certainly welcome. That's all I have for you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.